Greetings, chess aficionados. Welcome back. Round number 9. Let's continue our World Chess Championship from 1972. Spassky now with whites, Fischer with the black pieces. We're going to see Queen's Gambit decline, semi-Tarrasch, and main line. So let's proceed with d4, knight f6, a few theoretical moves right off the book now. Many of us play this opening, so quite positional, very predictable to some extent. Of course, now white can do dc, cd, bishop g5, as we had highlighted on the screen already, or e3. Now he goes with c takes on d5, and knight captures back. Of course, again, cd, ed, and knight actually opts here. Black to play, Fischer, that is. And Spassky hits the knight with e4. So now the black knight, obviously, will have to capture on c3. I think that's the best way to be playing, because if you go back, if you go with the knight back on f6, you might be subjecting the knight to further maybe pawns advancement. There might be a pin coming on g5. So probably you want to eliminate this potential continuation. So we'll go with knight takes c3, b takes c, c takes d, and taking back. Now white enjoys a very solid center. It only needs to make space for the bishop on f1 to play somewhere, and then castle. Both of them want to do the same thing, developing bishop, knight to c6, bishop to c4. Of course, you could play bishop to e2, not a problem. Bishop to c4, though, and b5. And now if you're saying, oh, what is this? Should I take that pawn? Of course you shouldn't take the pawn, because that's a poisonous pawn. It's as poison as it gets, because if you're to capture this pawn here, you've got a problem with the fork coming with queen on a5, checking the king, and simply taking your bishop. So you got to be very careful when your opponent plays something that's too good to be true. You need to check and make sure you're not dropping your pieces. So bishop to d3, you can't really touch that pawn. Bishop to b4, checking now the king, and bishop to d2, and bishop takes, and queen takes. And now black has to play a6. It's no longer a problem for the light square white bishop to take on b5, okay, because there is no check coming here. So now black needs to defend the b5, a6, a4 to dismantle that pawn structure. Obviously, it's very attackable, because if they were to take, you can take back anyway, and then you can hit on these guys, prioritize, and maybe then just make it like 3 pieces attacking a6. So obviously a4 wants to dismantle the black pawns on the a, respectively b file here, castles, and queen to c3. I guess that's obvious, guys. Queen to c3 wants to go and take on c6. Bishop defends and develops off the back rank, and knight is being defended now. Pawn takes, and pawn takes, castles. You can take that guy later if you want to castle. It's very important to castle. Do not neglect the king's safety. It's very important. Queen to b6 being played here. Rook from a to b, obviously aligning on the b file where the black queen is, and with the bishop, double attack on the b5 square. Goes with the pawn attacking the queen, but probably you noticed as it is a little bit pinned, but nevertheless queen goes on d2. Away from the pawn's attack. Knight takes on d4, knight takes, and queen captures. The bishop on d3 is pinned, can't really move, because if they move, the queen is gonna drop, so obviously we can't do that. But rook takes on b4, black queen is under attack, has to go away. Queen to e3, no more inner pin, so queen goes away from the file where the black queen is. So now the bishop on d3, we may say, is free to go. Rook now aligns and double attack on d3, and Spassky plays rook f to b1. They want to say, you take my bishop, I'm going to take your bishop. So it's very, very seriously going towards a draw. So that's as draw as it can get. Queen captures, rook takes, and rook takes. And frankly, at this stage now, you could just, in all good conscience, you just draw here. Of course, they're not going to be falling for this, but white threatens rook to b, so you got to be careful about that one. Of course, there is always a rook that coming on the back rank, or you could just play g6 or h6 now, and you're absolutely fine. More intrepid g5 goes for black, so there is no back rank issues now. And rook checks, checks, and checks, but obviously there is always a space. King goes on g7 after g5 being played, and f3 now, make it a protection for the e4, and very good pawn structure here for white. And again, as we said, as draw as it can get now, and h4. And obviously, if that pawn were to be captured, not a problem to moving the king, and with the help from the rook here, threatening all sorts of things here, and this guy is going to be recaptured back. So no way for white not to take the pawn back if black were to capture back. You're doing very well here. And that's more like to disrupting and doubling of the pawns on the h file, which black pawn will be taking back, as we guys highlighted. And if the black king wants to coming down, there is always some rook to g8 coming from behind, checking the king. And all in all, 0.00, and that is a draw, my chess friends. That was a short video because was very neat game, very neat, not that much of a tactical as positional, so to speak. Round number 9, Queen's Gambit declined, Sebitarash main line. We've just seen it now, guys. Subscribe to this channel because we'll be continuing, and more exciting and more tactical games are about to happen from the same World Chess Championship. Fischer, Spassky. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and see you next time.